Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Two Broken Escalators number 27. It is the last podcast of the 2020 year, and of course we'll get into how wild 2020's been. I am joined by the most handsome man that I know on the whole planet, and John, we'll get to you in a second, but I am joined by a man that can put away so many burgers. He's got the keister of a Greek god, the hair of a flowing stallion. Kyle, how the heck you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, thank you. It's good to be here back.
And oh my
for the
god, I think for the last podcast of the year, and I think that we have, and let me just, can we all like mentally prepare ourselves for this? Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but this is the Nintenjon, one of the most handsome, the most musically gifted, the straightest teeth. If you leave your boyfriend around him for too long, he'll probably have sex with him. John, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the last episode of the year. We're so happy to have you on. How the fudge you doing?
I am doing fantastic. It's great to be here. Thank you.
All right. So, if you guys don't know this, John is probably the straightest man I've ever met in my life.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. I love boobs and ass.
Boobs.
I wanted to start today with a controversial topic, as we usually do here. We're not talking about weird porn yet this week, but
Oregon.
Oregon. This is a conversation that John and I have had many times, and with a few other friends as well, but there is something within the gay community right now, maybe it's the Twitter community, maybe it's the younger community, where it's like maybe 13 to 19 years old, maybe a little bit over, where people that are gay are so focused on being gay that it is their entire identity, it is the entire makeup of who they are, it is their entire existence.
Are these people you're streaming with?
Yes, Sarah.
Your sister looks great.
Sorry, my sister just came in. That's my bad. We're doing a podcast.
Oh.
So the entire makeup of like the younger gay community right now is I'm gay. This is who I am. This is who I intend to be. If you say anything otherwise, then I will be offended. So instead of rolling to John first, because I know how many thoughts he has on this, he's already just steaming like, oh, let me yell at my own kind. Kyle, what are your thoughts about this, about people over-identifying themselves with something, about people needing that sense of community so badly that they push this agenda on everyone that they need to be gay, and if that's not acceptable with you, then they're going to yell at you?
All right, so I guess there's two things I want to talk about here. One is more of a general kind of point that people always want like a sense of belonging, right? That's kind of just general humans. They want to fit into a community, a group, a Twitter, Discord, whatever it is. They want to have a sense of belonging to a group of people who share similar interests. That's kind of how we met, right? We met through video games. So I think that's where it starts. Sometimes it could take a turn from the worst, where you get associated with the wrong group of people who kind of leverage the negative points on said group and run with it. But I also think there is a good side to where if they don't find these groups, they could find themselves lost. They could find themselves kind of going down a dark path, a dark tunnel, spiraling out of control. But I think that's just mostly humans in general. And but the other point I think that is probably more to this talking point. It's not being able to how do I phrase this without getting banned? Okay, not being able to state your opinion for fear of backlash. But it's not like warranted backlash, right? It's not like, oh no, you deserve that because you said something completely outrageous. I don't think we're at that point in time where kind of questioning what we're allowed to say and not allowed to say is kind of part of our culture. Yeah, I'm gonna get myself canceled. Wouldn't be the first time.
Do it in your own time, not on my stream.
But I also wouldn't say I know it enough. This is sort of under my age. I don't know a lot of people that fit into this kind of scenario. but I'm sure you guys do because that's more your community, and probably more of not to dox you, but your area type thing.
Whoa, take it easy.
Yeah.
That actually, funnily enough, that is an unintentional dox being like, yeah, I get around a lot of gay people. Well, he's on the Western United States.
Well, there's other
Well,
areas.
there he is.
Now you just said it, but you know. But that's kind of the first thoughts I have on it.
Pass it to the gay. Pass it to the gay.
All right.
I mean, this is what we've been waiting
I
for.
literally just got my popcorn. I'm so excited.
All right, here we go. All right, so Noble, before I start doing anything, I want you to say the question again, and just to reiterate
Yeah,
what we're
to
talking
phrase the
about.
question to the best of my ability, I would say young men specifically, but it happens a lot within the gay community. Humans need a community. They are a community-based creature. If you want to look at it in nature, it would be like a wolf pack, it would be like baboons, it would be like bears or lions. Humans need to be together. Often, people identify in that way through sports groups, music, school clubs, video game things, etc., etc. What this has taken a step to within the gay community, particularly from the younger people, is that they need a sense of community so badly that their profile pictures are them being gay, their bios are them being gay. Everyone around them needs to know that they are gay. Otherwise, you can't operate around them because they need gay people in their life, as it is solely their life.
All right, let's talk.
John's like, I hate my own kind!
Well, okay, so as as a gay person myself, like it is very interesting being able to see both sides of the spectrum. So for me, like I do majority of what I do in my presence being a part of the LGBT community isn't really about how I look, but more so how I feel. And I talk about that. And with a lot of people, especially the younger generation who I've seen through like teaching and stuff like that, it's not really about that sense of community, but it's honestly about a sense of individuality. So, what I see when it comes to the younger generation, people that are like middle school, high school age, born after the 2000s, is there are a lot of people that are starting to get into this sort of fad. And the fad is being a part of the LGBT community. And it's very interesting to see because there are people that are just want to be so rebellious that they don't really look inside themselves to see like, oh, this is actually who I am, but they'll literally just be like, oh, I'm bisexual. And then they go after that and they start being really rebellious towards people. They start rebelling against their schools. They start rebelling against teachers and their parents and all this sort of stuff. And I've talked about it with a lot of people. Majority of the community that you see in LGBT, whether it be on the West Coast, the East Coast, where I am in the South, like all that sort of stuff, it depends on who is leading what. So, whenever you have, for instance, I know a lot of people that are in Florida. I have a lot of gay friends in Florida that hold rallies and LGBT clubs and stuff like that, but they're very professional. And if you go in, it's not like rainbows and body glitter all over the place. It's more so just like being present, knowing that you are in a good space. Now, there are a lot of different rallies, like pride rallies, for example, that you would see in Chicago or Dallas, that many of those foundations are built off of people from the younger generation that are about 18 or like 18 to 25, I would say, and those take a bit of a spin to it. And that's where you start seeing the, oh, I'm a part of the community, so I'm going to wear bondage and pup costumes and all this sort of stuff. And nobody can judge me because if you judge me, then you're wrong. And I feel like that's where you get into that sort of downward spiral because you get into this part where it's like, why do people hate on the LGBT community? Well, is it a religion thing? I don't think so anymore. I honestly think it's because people are just being so rebellious that that the people outside of the LGBT community are like, we're not judging you, but if you're going to be a dick, then I don't want to be a part of what you're presenting.
So I actually got a very interesting question off of that. And you and I talk about this a lot, just like casually off stream, happens on stream all the time. I have a
Mhm.
massive gay community. Don't know why. Probably
Oh, I
because
know
I'm.
why. I can tell you why.
Is it because I'm gay? John, am I gay?
No,
John,
no, but
John, look at me. Look at me in my face.
yes,
Am I gay?
no.
I am for you.
Oh, cute.
um, what do you think about the extension? And it can be a controversial topic for those in the gay community. But what do you think about the extension of being gay? Like Pride was initially okay, you're gay, but now we're so inclusive: lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans. I don't know what the Q means.
Questioning.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
That that's interesting to me. I did not know that that meant questioning. So like again, that's just putting the Q there at the end seems like you just need to be identifying as a part of a group. And then
Well,
there's
that
more to that. Isn't it LGBTQIA plus?
yes, and the Q in many scenarios in Texas, like it's different. So when you see LGBTQ, like LGBT, it could be lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and then the Q could either mean questioning or queer. And it just depends where you're from. So in Texas, we are very Republican. So the Q means questioning because they don't want
Oh.
to say queer. But in scenarios in like California or New York, Q means queer
Oh,
because you're not really
interesting.
questioning it. Nobody's questioning it.
This is the best time Kyle could ever have. He's hammering down food and gets people to talk for him. um,
Best podcast.
I think because I've had this conversation with trans people before, and I want to get into something divisive that people will look back and they'll try and cancel me for it, but it's in the sake of knowledge, and anyone who's trying to cancel anyways, like not really someone I want to be around with.
Hmm.
Um, not necessarily the transition part, but I've had issues with trans people in the past. First of all, do whatever you want to do. I really don't care. Like, I don't, like, not like, oh, God, you can be you. Like, I don't care in the sense that I don't want to know you. Like, I already have all the friends that I want. I just don't care who you
Yeah.
are. If you want to be cool to me and hang out, then yeah, let's hang out. Um, but it is so much. So the body modification is the first part of it, right? Like, even if you don't go full trans, you could put boobs on a guy. It's just surgery. It's when you bring the estrogen and the testosterone into, again, age ranges from like 13 to 19. I hope anyone's not getting that surgery that early. But when you get like, let's say 19 to 25-year-olds, that age demographic, or 18 to 25-year-olds rather, and they're getting this influx of testosterone or estrogen in their body when they're at their own peak of producing it, it
Yeah.
often accounts for massive mood swings, unstable conversations, I guess you could say some general toxicity. What are your thoughts on that?
No, it's true. And I've talked to a lot of people. I have a lot of trans friends that I've had the pleasure of talking with, many of whom have already transitioned from whatever they were before to feel more comfortable. And I mean, I agree with what you say. It's very interesting how, like, when do you give somebody who's transgender testosterone or estrogen and all that sort of stuff? And if you didn't already know this, a lot of people that are like, I would say about like 15 and below, majority of them, it's not actually them, it's their parents.
That terrifies me. We've had many conversations about that. I don't think that you should legally be allowed. Like, again, it's divisive. Kyle dropped. We'll get him back. Um,
We've
Again,
been
it is
hearing that.
divisive. I don't think that you should legally be allowed to push your kids towards a transition.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It is very interesting whenever you put it into a perspective of what are you teaching your kids that you're going to make them transition even before they have fully matured into an actual human being, you know? Like you're telling them that they're not good enough essentially. And there are a lot of kids that are transgender that if once you get into that sort of thing, it's like, "Oh, yeah, like I do want to go through the transition. I do want to go through and do all of this." Um, but is it really the right time? And usually that's up to the parents, especially if they're younger than 18 and they don't actually have a say in the matter.
Yeah,
So,
that's my biggest fear on the matter. Like, um, a 7-year-old kid wearing a dress, like I want to be a lady. Like, okay,
mm,
that's cool, but when you do the research, when you get to the appropriate age, when you're 7, you're a dumb human.
mhm,
Like, humans are so strange in this regard. If you look at a 7-year-old chimpanzee, had kids, maybe led a group, has had like physical life or death fights, a 7-year-old child is just a gumball of a human. Like,
yeah,
it's completely useless. So if
mhm,
someone's like wearing high heels and a dress, back then, when back in like the 80s or something, and just further back you go, if you were wearing a dress when you were a kid, your dad gave you some gay slurs, your mom laughed, and then you grew out of it because
mm,
there was no like, if you ended up in the right supportive household, if you want to end up going that way, then that's fine. But I don't think that the parents should push you one way or the other to the point where you feel like you need a transition when you're 14 years old, you're getting this major surgery. I just read something recently. This girl's suing doctors. The girl transitioned to a guy. She's suing doctors because she regrets her transition and she figures that they should have stopped her. Like, you're just a little kid. You got to think about it more. It's an
yeah.
incredibly, it's life altering.
It is, and that's why um and I like Cody's
That's a good
question
question.
in the chat, like someone thinking about transitioning, what's the right amount to question them? And I don't think it's really about questioning decisions. And of course, like you'll be like, hey, are you like ready for this? Is this like something you want to do? But it's not really questioning, it's just making sure that they're making the right decision. Because it's true, it's a very life altering experience. And there are a lot of scenarios where you have a 14-year-old that knows that they're going to transition and that they know like they're going to get the surgery at 15, their parents are all for it and like all that sort of stuff, and it's all on them, and they live a happy life in their transition and they do whatever they do, and it's just that. But there are also a lot of scenarios where there are people that do transition and they regret it because of things that they finally felt. And a lot of it, like if you're in public schools, even private schools, like people kind of pushing that sort of agenda of like, oh wow, you're wearing heels like you're a girl, and then you think like, am I a girl? And then you start getting into that sort of thing. Because there are a lot of people that um mainly um male to female, that if men are more feminine than usual and they start feeling like, oh, maybe I am like, maybe I was just born the wrong way, I needed to be female, and then it gets into this like, oh wow, I actually like guys and like all this sort of stuff, maybe I was meant to be a female, but then you don't realize like that's just typical.
I think
Like,
transitioning is so accessible now that people just jump on that instead of just being like, maybe I'm just gay.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. And it's not only that, but it's also the fact that you just want to be different.
Yeah.
And I that's what I hate. Like as somebody who has gone through like all the things that any sort of homosexual would go through, especially living in a very like conservative household and conservative city, Like, I've seen so many things, and it sucks to know that there are people in the world that just say that they're gay just to get attention from it.
I think the same thing, and Kyle and I talked about this last week, so we won't go too far into it.
You
But
can hear me all right, right?
yeah,
Hmm.
Okay.
the people that fake depression, Kyle and I talked about that last week, so we won't get into that again. But um, to bring Kyle back in the conversation after he DC'd, it bugs me that there's a certain amount of question. So Kyle and I are straight white men. In today's society, we're terrible people. Like, we're not allowed to ask questions. We're not allowed to get the knowledge that other people are allowed to, because for some reason the universe is run by white women right now, and they don't think that it is, but it's pretty funny. Um, I don't think, or it feels like, obviously, if you meet the mature person, then you can ask, like, okay, tell me. I've had conversations about the surgery to transitioning, what they went through, the setbacks, what life feels like now. But if I ask that to like random Twitter person, or if I wanted to have an honest conversation about Black rights in America or what they feel should be different, like, I have to go actively seek out that knowledge. I watched a Black intellectual podcast a few months ago at the peak of the riots with Brett Weinstein, and it's like, why doesn't the Black community promote this more? Why doesn't the gay community, and you're just using you as an example, why wouldn't the gay community promote someone like John more, who's willing to deal with the divisive um, topics? You need that learning experience. You need people to be able to say, I don't understand what's going on here. I may be a bigot, I may not be a bigot, but I need to learn. Most people, I won't say most people, there's a portion of people rather that are bigoted or racist or sexist, because the sexists have never met a powerful, beautiful woman that can take care of themselves. Introduce them to someone from the South. The racists have never met a black neurosurgeon. The bigots have never had their best friend just decide that they're going to be gay. These are all people that are uninformed, but you can't ask those questions. So I guess what I'm saying is, Kyle, how do you get people to ask those questions? When does it become comfortable? When can we have that conversation instead of just being like, I'm a straight white male. I'll sit here and hope that no one gets mad at me.
um so I think both sides are to blame. I don't think we're exactly like,
Well, there's nothing wrong with me. Hold on. Let's just get that out of the way.
yeah. I don't think if I go to Twitter and I ask a question and I get attacked and then I give up and stay a bigot the rest of my life, I don't think that's very, smart of
That is
me.
funny,
And I don't think
though.
I'm in the right there, like um don't go to social media for information, I think would be the first thing. And that's probably where most people mess up, right? They'll go and get into a Twitter argument and that'll be that. They'll just, I'm not talking anymore of them. Like, they threaten my life. They sent me death threats through my DMs or whatever. And that's it. And I think that happens a lot more common than people think. You have to actually go out of your way. Um, and I think it's getting better. Um, Again, it could be based on location in the country, but it definitely seems to be getting better over by me. Um, the issue on the other side is that, like you said, it's not very inclusive. They're not willing to let someone with privilege like me ask a question if I may be ignorant to some information on the other side. Um, it's sort of like fear of cancel culture, I guess. But I'm not really important enough to get canceled, so it really doesn't matter. You know.
I'm going to send all those K-pop fans what you said recently.
Oh, they love me. It's fine.
Kyle's actually huge in the
I
K-pop
didn't say
community.
anything. I didn't say anything bad, did I?
They call him Big Foreigner.
Oh god, yeah, you're gonna get banned for that for sure.
Probably,
Mm.
probably.
What was the second part of your question?
I don't quite remember, but we can just elaborate on what Rooster said in chat. People are scared to ask the tough questions in fear of the bigots and those who don't understand retaliating. People are just scared because you can't ask what you want to ask.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure.
And
I would agree with that, Rooster.
It's funny because whenever you think about the LGBT community, especially with me growing up, it was just like, I want people to understand me. I want people to know what I've gone through. Like, people that are straight, you don't have to go through coming out to your parents and like not being able to hold somebody's hand on the sidewalk and stuff like that. But then if somebody is going to ask you a question, then be open to that question. There's no reason for you to retaliate and be like, "Why are you asking me that?" They just want to know. Like if somebody comes up to me and they ask me like, "Hey, how did you know that you were gay?" and stuff like that. That could be a very, very big question and it could lead to like a lot of concern, but for me, I'm just like, "All right, let's talk about it."
I
Because
actually
they just
have.
wanna know. It's just for knowledge and
If I could
people.
respond to that quick.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If I had to guess, obviously you would know better than I would. I wouldn't say obviously. I'm an expert on the subject. But I think if someone were to come up to a gay person on the street and ask them that, it probably feels like almost like a trigger warning is about to happen. Like they're about to get berated, right? If they've experienced it in the past
Mhm.
and leading questions like that, they know almost know where it could go. So rather than, um be like a teacher and being able to like, you know, here's what's going on, here's what happened with me, here's what happens with a lot of people. It's almost like I'd rather just like, shut it up and walk away because I've had 100 arguments before with people who just hate me for being me.
Yeah.
It's almost like what would one changing one person's mind do for my mental health when I could just get rid of it and dismiss it.
Rice
And
Cakes
that
brought up something really interesting. Sorry to drive over you, John, but she
you're
said
good.
it almost feels like a crime to not know. How are people supposed to learn if no one's willing to teach? And I think like I can't go down the street and ask someone what Black Lives Matter means to them without me being offensive. I feel like in most scenarios, like, well, you wouldn't understand because you're white. I'm trying to understand. I want to know everything about you. You don't know anything about me. We're two entirely different entities. Um, it's the separation of people like, well, your skin's different, so you don't understand. I
Yeah.
want to understand. I have black family. I want to understand. I want to understand what is going on in your mind, why this is so important to you. I understand the general ideas of it, but why you specifically? And John also brought up what it means to be different. But from my perspective, and John, please correct me if I'm wrong, you are different and that's okay. But people like that have a good head on their shoulders, whether you're black, Asian, gay, upside down, sideways, it's you're okay with being different, but you don't want to be perceived as different. That's not the point of being different. But like we said initially, so many gay people are trying to reel that in and be different because that's their identity, when it's more
Yeah.
about acceptance. You're not trying to
Mhm.
shun people away from your community. You're trying to be like, I'm gay and I still want to be your best friend. Fuck yeah.
Mhm.
Let's hang out.
But that's where the transition comes from. Now it's the other part of the spectrum of I am gay and you have to deal with that. It's not I'm gay, let's be friends. And it also and I like how we were talking about this when it feels like a crime like what you were saying before Noble of going up to somebody and asking them what Black Lives Matter means to them, it unfortunately, like what you said, it sounds like berating because of trust. Like
Mhm.
I could easily go up to somebody and be myself and go up to somebody that's African American and be like, "Hey, what's Black Lives Matter mean to you?" because they're not scared of me. I mean, I may be white and I may be male, but I'm also gay.
But the gay accent comes out and they're like, oh, he actually wants to know. They
Yep.
see someone, I'm a taller white man. It's like, okay, what does this guy want from me? Like, what's his motive here?
Mhm.
What's his agenda? I just want
Yeah.
to know.
And that's the thing. Like we've gone through a history where straight white men are unfortunately not trusted anymore. And so the people that are trusted are Hispanics, women, gay, lesbian, like those sorts of people are the ones that are trusted. Like I was talking to my mom the other day, like she could go up to a woman, like any woman, and if they have a child and something needs to happen and this has actually happened to her, like a mom came up to her and was like, "Hey, can you like make sure my child is okay?"
Yeah, you
And
can't
that's
do that
where
to a
that
guy.
trust goes into. Like you can't do that to a straight white man because you don't have that sort of trust. You can do that with me because I have the voice, and if you hear me like the first time you're like, "Oh, he's gay, he's not going to do anything to my child." And that's where you need to start thinking about things externally and not internally. There's so many people, and it is unfortunate because I'm grouping all these people together that don't need to be grouped. Like, I'm lumping together every single straight white man in existence. There are so many people that are bigots, and there's so many people that have created that sort of like distrust in other people. And it's unfortunate because people like you, Noble, and Kyle, like, y'all just want to know things. But unfortunately, you're lumped into a whole different category that people don't trust anymore.
If you have something, I'll let you go ahead.
I'll play a little DA, little devil's advocate.
Wait, before you do that, because I know that you love to play the DA.
I love DA.
Rice brought up in chat, the divide is increasing because those who don't know have no one they can turn to without being attacked, so they just end up sticking to their original ideologies without learning anything. I agree entirely. I feel like I'm not gonna because I don't care. Kyle and I just don't care about other things. We take care of what we need to take care of. We take care of our loved ones, and then we just move on. But I can't say that I feel targeted or I feel racism towards me because that's offensive. I'm white. I can't feel that. But it's those people that are pushing that agenda. It's the people that are that are so tired of black crime because they're saying in context here, Twitch, don't ban me. They are saying these people are saying that black people are criminals. Like, okay, well there are some black people that are criminals, and there are some black people that are incredible fathers and husbands and athletes and scientists and scholars and mathematicians. I am put into the same group as every other straight white male. I can't push my daughter alone at the park without someone giving me a glance or someone giving me a weird eye. Like I just can't hang out with my daughter. It's like, oh, really? Like what's going on there? The amount of stories that I hear about that, where people have to leave with their daughters because some chick is yelling at them or some chick is trying to grab the hand of their kid. Like if I'm just walking through the street casually, be like, oh, that guy probably has his views of so and so because he's a straight white male. Like I've never felt targeted in my life. Also, if people target me, I still just don't care. But the thought is that I'm getting more eyes than I ever have before because the people at the very top of the political spectrum, the people that have to answer to 685 other people, but it just so happens the face of that is a straight white man, makes it bad for the rest of us? Are we going to start condemning black women now because Kamala Harris is going to be our VP? No chance.
So, well, no, because there hasn't been a black woman ever. It's been hundreds of years.
There's never been a black woman?
Straight white woman in political power, like political position, and vice president.
Is the first one?
President?
First black woman?
Yep.
No,
Yeah.
I'm fucking with you. I mean the first black woman ever.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So it's not. I don't think it's sort of like we should be criticized because of obviously who we are. I think it's just based on the history of this country and how it's played out. Yes, we're seen as privileged people, and we're seen as the ones who also, look like the ones who are in power.
He'll put me with you.
Why?
Because the whole thing you got going on.
I don't understand.
It's fine. It's just you keep going with your thing that you have going on, and I'll have my thing.
Sure. Anyway, where was I? So like the thing with the like in the park, obviously that's like a terrible situation, right? Another example that's commonly brought up is that men who are raped usually just their friends laugh it off. They can't
you're
go
a
to
pussy
like
if you say
therapy
anything.
for it. Yeah. That's just I think an unfortunate side effect of having I guess two biological sexes, right? Like one stronger than the other.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's something that we can really base like not being able to speak up on things. I think that's a separate issue. Like obviously women generally aren't paid as much as men for similar positions and work history. It's gotten a lot better for sure, but as of right now, it's still not the same. There are both sides of the issue. There's a lot worse things that happen to women, black people, gay people, Spanish people, Asian people because they're the minority. So the ones who are setting the laws are straight white men and have been for hundreds of years of precedence before. Um, I want to say, like, you know, we should be taking action to further progress into becoming more equal. Um, but the problem is, it is getting better. So now it's an intricate situation where how fast do you want to push it to where there's too much? Is it blowback? Would that be the right word?
Yeah, people are going to lose ideas of what to complain about because everything's just getting better.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think these things just take time, and it sucks because it probably won't be our lifetime, but generations to come. That's kind of just how humanity happened to work.
You
That's just
understand the other
people's
side of
lifespans.
things, like where a white man is making rights for a black man. There should be something to be said for men making abortion laws. Like, there should be something to be said for that. There's probably something wrong there. Like, let me tell you what to do with your body. If you get into criminal history and all that other stuff, or like more general stuff, but if you want to start at the very beginning, it's like, I can tell you whether or not you're forced to have that baby, because the logistics of abortion laws, if you're not like a only God believing asshole where it's like, God tells me whatever I'm supposed to do. If you get into logistics stuff, it's like, what if that baby was like from rape? Like, what are you really gonna do? What if the baby's sick? What if that baby's undeveloped? Like, there's a very nitty gritty into that, and it's someone else telling them what they can do with their body, which is nuts to me.
It is. It's absolutely crazy. Again, well, I mean, one of the first episodes we had, I think what we talked about was how uh, probably the most toxic part of politics in this country is the fact that religion's involved.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I don't really want to get. I mean, we can get into it again if you guys want, but we don't have to. We could just stick on our wonderful guest.
I love talking about religion because I had this conversation recently. I was with my religious family, and they were talking about how silly Scientology is, and I'm like, what? Like, you're all the same to me. Like, and they go, no, 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 Scientology is so crazy. You pay to get to the top. They believe that some alien landed. They believe that there's a higher transcendence. You're God duplicated fish. You think Zeus created the heavens? Like, you just go on and on and on. It's like, religion as a concept, it's based on hope. It's based on the idea that you can believe in something. But the core of religion, the first rule should be, for every religion, you should not condemn other people's religions, because the entire idea is hope. It's man-made. You need to believe it yourself. Because I went to Catholic school for 9 years, and like, I'm getting to 7th grade, and I go, I feel like I'm not understanding something here. So you're telling me that this guy saved everyone, but we're all sinners still, so we need to spend our entire lives worshiping this thing that I've never seen to make sure that I won't go to the place that burns me alive? Like, why can't I just not commit crime because that's the right thing to do? Why do I have to
That
be a
sounds like the
born
Bo
again
Burnham
Christian? Be
song.
like, okay, well, in God's eyes, like, as long as I don't go beat up that child, I'll continue to go to heaven. Well, I know I'm not going to beat up a child anyway. Why does there have to be some higher power, some unique power, to prevent me from literally beating up a child? I mean, it won't prevent me. That I'm going to fuck that child up. That's just the way it is. That's my decision making.
Committing to a religion is eerily similar to transitioning. Like, I think it's okay to like let them kind of do their own thing when they're younger, but once they get old enough, they should make their own decision.
The thing about religion, though, is you put your kids into it. No
Yeah,
one's like,
it's
I
for a
just
social aspect. It's not because like I really want you to learn about. I mean, like, okay, some parents do, it, but like I would say the vast majority are just like, this is Sunday daycare. Go learn
I would
things
not
and
say vast. I would
socialize.
strongly disagree with that. I think
Why?
in Eastern countries, religion, and even the Eastern United States.
Oh, I'm just talking about United States.
Oh, okay. It's like, if you're going to Boston, it's like, you're fucking going to church. Like, you don't
Yeah,
have a choice. You're going to church. God won't bring you any presents. Instead of Santa, they believe that God brings presents.
God with a beard.
So I went to Catholic school for 9 years. You went to a Baptist college, John. What did you think
Mhm.
about the scripture that you were forced to do? Are you religious?
I mean, partially.
You can't be religious. You're gay. Take it back.
I mean, yeah, it's true. Um, I praise the gay gods, you know. Well, at my university, we're required to take 2 religious classes and also 2 semesters of chapel. So, I had to, like, read through the whole entire Bible, read through the scripture, and the other class was, going through history of scripture. And I honestly believe, like, for me, even if I'm not like the most religious person in the world, like I still think of myself as Christian. Um the type, like, I don't know, I believe in God and that's all that really matters, you know. But it's funny because I've had arguments in the past of people trying to be like, well, in the Bible, this happened, in the Bible, that happened. And then me, people who don't know that I actually had to go to classes to study religion, I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about First Corinthians line 28, like blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about it. And people freak out about it because they're like, wait, that's not right. And it's like, well, I mean, I'm sorry to say, and like Twitch ban me, please, but the God in the Old Testament was an ass. So like so it's funny when people bring it up because it's like, yeah, like you condemned somebody for doing something and you're going to stone them in front of everybody. And then you're going to talk about Genesis and how everything was created and blah, blah, blah. And you're not going to talk about the New Testament because like there are things in there that are better. So it's just really interesting. Like the scripture that I was told to read and like all that sort of stuff, like I mean, yes, there were some things that I was like, "Oh, well, I don't believe in that, blah, blah, blah." But, like, it still gives me the power to be able to kind of have those conversations with people and be like, "Okay, you wanna talk religion? Let's talk religion. You think that I don't know anything? Well, let me show you my 2 years of religious experience and, like, slap your face real quick." Like, you know?
I was muted, excuse me. There's confirmation, marriage, and then your last rites, I believe, after that. But like, I, I did religion, did it, and
Did
you're gonna try and convince me
you
about it,
didn't
but
go through confirmation?
no, I stopped before that
Oh,
because I stopped being religious in like seventh. I got really into mythology. I was like, well, if we're just gonna believe in all these made up stories, might as well be cool. But
Yep.
like I said before, religion, its concept is hope, and you don't have to take that away from anyone. Like, just have hope. Have your hope in something.
let
I
people enjoy the things they want to enjoy.
That's the biggest thing. It's like
That's just
in
like
in modern year, in modern era, in data and time, people just can't enjoy what they want to. It's like, I believe in God. Yeah, well, let me tell you why God's not real. Like, well, I believe in God because he gives me hope. He gives me faith. He helps
Yep.
me operate. He makes me comfortable all night. Or she, or it, whatever you want to believe. But it's the
Mhm.
same reason why, like, this God fearing man, this is the exact same person as the person that believes that they need to sit on a specific side of the couch and wear their jersey a specific way whenever the 49ers game is on.
Yeah.
Like, it's the exact same thing. It's hope, it's faith, it's superstition, and that's okay. Because I'm a
Mhm.
superstitious sports asshole, but I think religion is stupid.
Yeah, and it's
It's
funny that
people.
you mention like the pronoun thing. Like the he, she, they, like about talking about religion because there was actually a really big argument at my university where somebody came into a chapel which is full of just like first semester freshmen. Like they're just 18 years old and they're in chapel and the person is praying and they refer to God as she. And somebody in the audience got like really offended by that and started yelling at her. And the conservatives of Baylor actually wrote a letter to the president of the university that was like, this is against our ideals. This is like not what should be
That's
taught
so
if
funny to
you're
me.
not going to talk about like
that's
God as
crazy.
a he and stuff like that. But it's funny because going to a Baptist university in the state of Texas, you would think like, oh my gosh, it's going to be super conservative. Like people are going to like kill me for like thinking the things that I think and blah blah blah. But in all actuality, like Baylor is a very liberal college, and we have people that come from these conservative backgrounds that have rallies, that have protests, like on the fields of McLean and like all these sorts of things, because they just want things to be different. And that's what happened with this. Like, you had the Young Conservative Club of Baylor like telling the president, like, you have to condemn this person. She can never come back because she referred to God as she. And then you have the other side of the spectrum of like all these other freshmen that were in there that were like, she can do whatever she wants. Like, this is just to educate us. Like, there's no reason for you to be offended by it.
Yeah, I
Um,
remember
Interesting.
our friends getting into arguments. It's very interesting to me that people get into legitimate heated discussions. Like it used to be back when our parents were around, to all three of us. You went to a dinner party, you didn't bring up politics, you didn't bring up religion. It was respect. Now there's 13-year-olds on Twitter telling me that whoever I voted for is wrong because it doesn't fall into their rights. You can't vote anyway, you little asshole. Why does your opinion
Yep.
matter?
mhm.
I think that a lot of colleges are more liberal now, but maybe that's a different topic or a
Well, it
different time.
also I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that majority of colleges are becoming more liberal because of the
Progressivism.
education side of things.
I think it's progressive. I think my personal opinion is that Kyle and I have talked about this a lot. I talk about this with a lot of other friends. I think that college is in a weird place right now. I think that you should pursue a trade. I think you're just dumping. The national debt is like $4 trillion for student
Mhm.
loans. Like that's
Yeah.
that's way too much money. Just don't go to college. Go work on a trade. The main reason you go to college is for the social aspect, to party, to meet some guy whose dick you can suck, and then tell stories about it when you're 48.
Yep.
How old are you?
What?
Pass, 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 pass,
What?
pass.
What are you?
Cal, bring me something more. Well, actually, you're not going to care about this. I was going to say, we've been so political for so long, which I quite enjoyed. The hockey season starting soon, bitch. That's in
We
January.
love hockey.
John, you can't love hockey. You're gay, they said. And you can't refer to God as she. You can't do either of those
Yeah,
things.
yeah, apparently, like I can't like they're just saying I can't call people that I want to call. I can't suck dick in public. Like, it's
That's
just
so
like all
fucking
these
offensive
things.
that you can't suck dick in public.
Like,
That's
it's
so
so
fucking
bad.
offensive,
It's
dude.
so bad. But anyways, I'm actually gonna have to go and get ready for my dream. So if there's anything else you want to ask me real quick.
Why are you so handsome?
Anyone in chat? Anyone have chat have any questions for John before he leaves us?
Why am I so handsome? Because society made me want to be handsome.
Society was really terrible to me. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take care of myself.
Society
A
was
cruel
like,
world.
you suck, and I was like, no, you, and then became beautiful. I don't know.
A bunch of men running into each other sounds pretty good to me. Oh, you're
They
football? You're
skate
gonna
into
reach
each
under
other.
his ass? You're gonna grab his ball? Sounds pretty
Oh.
gay to me.
True.
All right, John, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for being on
Thank
this
you,
episode.
John.
Yeah,
Love you with my whole
appreciate
heart.
y'all. Bye, guys. Have fun.
Bye, John. Okay, let me go back to formatting. Let me go back to formatting Kyle's stupid face. Can I say that?
We'll just cut it. We'll just edit it. I say we like we have an editor, but it's just you.
We were chatting for a while, so if you guys just want to give us, there we go.
Anyone but Cody has a question. We'll take
If
it.
anyone but Cody has
There's
a question.
no way Cody has a good question right now.
I can tell that I've been on the podcast for a while because it's starting to get dark now. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. I think football's gay too. Tell him, Cody. Did I tell you that someone
Weren't
came
we
into my
talking
stream?
about hockey?
Fuck yeah, hockey. Someone came into my stream the other day and said, you shouldn't use gay in a derogatory way because I referred to something as gay, and I was like, why do you care? Like, say whatever you want to. They're like, please don't. I don't even think I did. I think someone else I was talking to did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why do you? It's like, well, because gay is a tough term, and you shouldn't like negatively view it. It's like, I don't. My best friends are gay. They say things are gay too. You're just sensitive. Dude, I don't even know what's
Yeah.
going on with Cody, but I don't like it.
It's definitely tough sometimes that where you're like, listen, like, I'm just gonna say what I want, and if you're gonna come into my space and like just remove yourself from this situation. Don't place yourself in a situation and then complain about being in said situation.
People want to correct people so badly, and I'm just like,
It's
what?
it's like I want to say a tick, but I don't want to offend anyone with Tourette's. But like, they gotta stop. You
You
gotta
actually
stop,
can't
man.
say Tourette's anymore. You just have to say tease. It's offensive.
Sorry.
If anyone in chat has any questions, I feel like that went on for a while. Really insightful conversation. I actually enjoyed that conversation a lot. But if anyone in chat has any questions, please feel free to drop them right now. We're coming to the tail end of the podcast.
Neo pronoun? What is a neo pronoun?
I don't
Is
know.
that just pronoun, but you wanted to add neo?
Pronoun but matrix. Can I say that? Is that offensive? Am I banned?
Oh, you could say it's offensive to specifically Keanu Reeves, but I don't think it'll say offensive.
Speaking of Keanu Reeves, you know how
He's
much
one of the coolest dudes ever, right?
Fair. You know how much I like being right. So you know that I love being right about Cyberpunk just falling on his face.
I couldn't believe that, dude.
You know that I love being right.
Well, yeah.
Should football have weight classes and things to prevent injuries?
Energies.
You're gonna have to elaborate on that, Cody, because that question doesn't make any sense.
Football's new weight classes have different chakras.
Hey, fuck you!
You're the one that misspoke.
Never do it again.
Are people trying to go by Kitty and Kid Self? Is that a thing?
No.
Updates bio.
Dog man. I don't know. I don't care what people do.
Yeah.
Like it's so. Whenever I'm talking to people on Discord, if they're gonna put like, if they feel the need to put, their age, whether or not they're in a relationship, their gender, their sex, yada 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 yada, it's like okay, that's a lot. I'm not. I don't need. I'm just not gonna associate with you. Fine. You might be a fine person. It's just too much for me. I just like people who like to hang out and talk shit. That's all I like.
Hey, people want to go by whatever they want. Go for it. Like
Yeah,
as long as it doesn't harm other people, or if it doesn't bring like harm to your, like I wouldn't want people to bring harm to themselves. Obviously, just like
weight classes
just
like MMA.
do your own thing.
I understood that, Cody, but how would you have weight classes in football? Like that people have to be specific weights for specific positions, because that's not why people get injured in football. People get injured in football because you twist so often. Getting high load is like the #1 injury in football because you're twisting people so much. Someone tackles you from up high, someone grabs your ankle. Also, football is like the most intentional dirty sport where you'll see people at the bottom of the pile trying to like heel hook somebody, just like try and break their leg, or like you'll see someone going after quarterback and pull on their foot after. Like, these people are just dicks.
Yeah,
like they're bad people.
But I don't think there's any way to have weight classes to. I think injuries are just part of the sport, regardless.
Yeah, it's not like in baseball. Like in baseball, you tear something while running, you throw out your shoulder, like you get beamed. All those injuries happen as a part of the sport. In hockey, you might get hit the wrong way. A skate might come up and catch you. You might get injured in a fight. You might take a
hit
puck.
By the puck.
Yeah, those are like in baseball and hockey. Those injuries are very linear because they're part of the game. In football, they're actually trying to hurt people. Like you used to knock people the fuck out as recently as like 2005. You would try to knock people out with your hits.
They should just remove pads. Go the rugby route.
Well, that'd be crazy. I wonder the rugby injury ratio, but I think football is actually a pretty dirty sport.
Football is actually higher risk of people getting injured.
Leaking too much spinal fluid from getting hit by other 350-pound people. What 350-pound people would they be getting hit by? The only people that are going to be 350 pounds are linemen. So that just means that they're small defensive linemen, which means that they're small for their position.
Are you going to have 350-pound wide receivers? Is that your answer?
Yeah, I don't. Then what is everyone 200 pounds? Well, the point of the lineman is to it's a chess match. They're the pawns. They stand there. They protect the king. It's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be big and tall. And the defensive linemen are supposed to be fast. You can't you want your wide receivers to be tall. You want your cornermen to be fast. You want your running backs to be built well. It's just a weird sport because you actively try and hurt people in that sport. I don't know why.
I don't know where I read it, But rugby actually has less injuries because when you tackle someone, you're also risking harm to yourself. So they're going for like proper form and proper takedown. Where in football, you have pads on, so you just throw your
You just
body at the other
yeah.
person.
So they're bringing down the size of the pads. In the 90s, when pads were fucking, like, in the 70s to the 2000s, I guess, when pads were stacked on top of each other, just like pads on pads on pads, and the helmets were giant, you'd see people just run through other people. And big hits still
Bobby
happen,
Boucher.
but, like, a big hit, a clean hit in an open space is way safer than someone getting tackled in the pile. Because there's going to be
Yeah.
some asshole at the bottom that tries to break your ankle or tear your ACL.
Bodies
Can't
can't
they
handle
can,
being that
Cody?
big
They're just
taken out.
smaller. The only 350-pound people on the field are going to be offensive linemen and maybe some like nose tackles on the defense, but they're just small. So they either get big or quit playing football or realize that football is an oonga boonga dead brain caveman sport. Did you ever have much interest in football? Do you like when the Jets do well?
I played when I was younger, and I don't think anyone can like when the Jets play well because they played well 1 week and it just ruined their season.
It did ruin their season.
I don't watch football really. I don't really. It's not my thing. I played when I was younger, and I still like. We used to play with friends all the time, just like up at the field, like 4-on-4, 5-on-5.
Playing
Still fun.
football is so much more enjoyable than watching football.
Yeah, I just don't enjoy like 7 seconds of action and then like just break and commercial.
Like, I
and
want to get tired. I want my friends to fuck with me. I want to talk shit. I don't want to wait for these refs to figure something out. It's complete ref ball, by the way. I know umps because I've been watching more baseball videos because I love you and I want to get closer to you.
John Boy.
Yeah, I know that umps can make bullshit calls sometimes, but ref ball is so garbage in football.
Yeah.
They're all over the age of 60 for some reason. None of them can keep up. None of them know what's happening. Every hockey
Isn't
ref.
there that one ref?
Fucking dude, all of them are the same. None of them can keep up.
There's that one football ref though who's like jacked. He was all over like Reddit.
Yeah, I think
last
it's
year.
Gene's territory. I might be wrong, but he was absolutely
Probably.
jacked. All hockey refs, every single hockey ref has to be skating through the play the entire time. If you're
they're
not
in
in shape, if you don't know, like there's bullshit calls that happen in every sport, but if you're not in shape, if you don't know the game, then they get rid of you. The NFL's just like, yeah, it's the same thing for UFC. Could you imagine if there was NFL refs in the UFC? Just watching people get the shit kicked out of them? Like, that's
it's
gotta be
battling.
something.
Just throw the flag. Throw the flag. I don't know what it was. Just throw the flag. We'll talk after.
That's like.
I have a question for you though.
Go ahead.
How do you feel about the new offsides rule?
You do care.
Of course I care.
It was a long time coming. I had read up on it. It was a long time coming.
That's what the general consensus I read was.
Yeah.
I was curious.
It's just going to slowly make the game better. By the way, the Sabres have the hardest division in hockey next season because of the realignment. It's so sad about it. I know that you know these teams. We have the Pens, the Flyers, the Bruins, and the Capitals all in our division. And the Islanders, too.
I was going to say, isn't the Islanders or the Rangers? I didn't know which one it
And
was.
then the
but
other
one
team
of
is the
them
Devils,
there.
who are going to be terrible, and then the Rangers, who are getting better. So we have 5, maybe 6 playoff teams, and then there's us be like, let's fucking give it a shot, boys!
Give it the old college try.
The Capitals, the Bruins, and the Penguins have all won a cup or more in the last 10 years. The Islanders and Flyers have been in the playoffs like 7 out of the last 10 years. So have the Rangers. And we're just like, fuck yeah! We've been in the playoffs in 10 years. I'm sad. But I'm so...
That's all right.
I get to watch hockey in 30 days. Or 20 days, actually, I think. I'm so fucking excited, dude.
That's an exciting feeling.
Are you going to be around for our New Year's basketball?
I told you, I'll try and stay up. I don't know how late I'll be up, but
I mean,
I'll try.
like, if you stay up for an hour just so we can play golf, I'm so excited.
I'll try.
It's on a Friday. It's on a Thursday. Do you have to work the day after? You shouldn't.
New Year's Day? No, I'm off.
Okay. So then you get Friday, Saturday, Sunday off.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like stay up late and sleep late and then be screwed for Monday because I've been doing that recently.
Yeah, you have. You can hang out for like an hour or something just so we play golf, talk shit.
Mm.
This might have been answered already, but how many / which bones have you broken and worst injuries you've experienced? I'm just gonna give a warning for those in chat right now. I'm gonna show my finger. I shattered it when I was in 4th grade, so just like as a pre-warning, it's not disgusting, but if you're squeamish, it doesn't look like a normal human finger. But yeah, that's the warning. Hopefully people were paying attention. But that's not the worst injury. It's just like the first one that I can think of. So you can very easily see, like, it's so broken, or it was so broken and so jagged, you can very easily see the difference in the nail. Like, I don't ever notice it because it just, like, it operates like a normal finger still, but no one pays attention to their fingernail. Like, if you have a jagged toenail, nobody knows. I've actually never really had people comment on it, but now that I look at it, it does look pretty fucked up. But yeah, it's just like, it still operates. I can still lift weights. I can still throw a punch. I can still pick my ass. So that was the first one I could think of. I always shared the worst pain in my life, but I'll let Kyle answer that first because my worst pain in my life is always the same.
I've never broken a bone actually.
I got
I
you.
sprained my neck once though.
Ah,
That was probably the worst injury.
sucks.
I had to get one of those, like, actually playing football, funny enough. I had to wear like one of those foam things for my first week of high school, so I was popular.
I tore my abs in high school. Sucked. I sprained my ass.
Did I know you then?
In high school? Yeah.
No, when you tore your abs.
I don't know if I would have told you guys about it because it was really embarrassing. I don't know if I would have
How'd you
should.
do it?
Trying to suck my own dick.
I don't think you can say it.
When I sprained my ass, that sucked. But the worst contact injury, if you guys know anything about me, if I've never shared it on stream, my dad was a fighter. I've trained in MMA a lot. Having someone check your kick is a top 3 all-time pain for anyone on the... Like, getting kicked in the ball sucks, but it doesn't hurt. You get sick, you want to throw... It's pain, and then it's just like, my body feels disgusting. There's just vomit in my body.
Painful.
Getting kicked in the shin is like, okay, so I'm not going to be able to walk forever. That's what it
I
feels. It
can't
feels like your leg's
breathe.
broken.
I cannot breathe if I hurt my shin.
Really?
I lose the ability to think, breathe. Like it's. I agree. It's like unbearable. I have weak shins. I don't know why. I've never broken a bone,
you like
but
literally
I
have to
feel
toughen
like
them
they
up.
could break.
Dude.
Yeah, like I've never rolled my shins. You know.
When I see you, I will very comfortably give you like a 3, because Jake and PJ both want me to leg kick them because they're stupid. I'll give you like a 3 out of 10 leg kick and be like, hey,
Don't
don't
don't.
on the tails of those missions. I'll leg kick you too, pup. I don't have that good of a leg kick comparably, but it hurts so fucking badly.
I don't know what it is. It's just by far the weakest part of my body.
Getting kicked, like, people are like, oh, would you take a punch from Tyson? Instead of getting head kicked, 7,000 times over.
I mean, I wouldn't want to get punched by Mike Tyson either. It's like a death sentence.
Right now, I wouldn't mind. In his 20s. Am I
Even
covering up or
right
am I letting
now,
him clock me?
I mean, pick your poison. It's gonna suck regardless.
If I'm covering up, I won't mind it as much. But I would not take a punch from him. I'll say one punch, and his ego will be so mad that he'll jab me, he'll go low, rip the body, I'll throw up, and then he'll just fucking hit me with the meanest right hook, and I'll just go down shitting my pants.
Just lose control of your body.
I saw someone on Twitter, I was doing Twitter advertisement the other day. I saw someone on Twitter that was like, they called someone else a boring fighter, and this guy's easily 360 pounds in his profile picture. I'm like, dude, you can't. It's insane to me. The guy goes, I paid for a lot of UFC fights, and you're easily the most boring fighter I've ever seen. Who fucking cares what you think, dude?
That's like the people who complain that Floyd Mayweather doesn't fight.
Who
Look,
fucking...
I don't care what he does, man. He just wins, and like,
greatest boxer of all time.
Don't blame
master.
him. Blame the sport.
Yeah,
Don't watch the sport.
Yeah, boxing is a so you want the entire objective of boxing is to hit people and not get hit. And he does that perfectly, and you're mad at him? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not only that, he did it in the best way, so where he could still function after retiring. If you're someone
he broke
who's
his
just
hands
a heavy,
160 times.
but he at least can think straight and doesn't like probably throw up every night and have blood come out of his nose every like.
Yeah.
These boxers turn into mush.
All the classic boxers like George Foreman, Muhammad Ali. I don't know if Parkinson's was related, but it certainly didn't help
I mean,
getting jabbed that much.
Anyone's brain gets rocked around for that long, dude. Just like
I would love to see someone try to last a couple rounds, nay, even a minute against fighters they complain about.
yeah, I
So
would too. I'd pay for it.
It depends on the fighter. If you're talking about, do you know anything about the UFC really right now, Kyle?
I don't know names, but
Do you have any
I
interest
like
in
watching
watching with
it.
us, by the way? Because Jake's getting more into it.
I like watching it, but I don't care about names or
Okay.
anything.
Cauliflower ears seems terrible too. It has to happen. It has
It's like a
to
wrestler
happen.
thing, right?
No, it's from getting punched in the ear. You ever been punched in the ear before?
What? No.
It sucks. It
I've
has
been
to happen.
open hand slapped in the ear.
That sounds like it sucks too.
Yeah, that sucked.
It has to happen, pup, because your body needs to adapt from getting hit in the ear so much. You need to protect yourself. Anyway, it depends on, like, if you're doing a kickboxer, if you're doing a boxer, if you're doing a wrestler. So, like, there'd be different ways for the average Joe to handle them. If you're doing a kickboxer, you're going to just cover up, turtle, run towards them. You're going to take a body kick. You're going to go, ha! And then you're hopefully just going to hang on to them for the minute. If you were doing, like, a judoka player, or like a jiu-jitsu specialist, if you get anywhere near them, they're going to turn your knee inside out. And you will never be able to walk on it the same way. Do you know what a heel hook is?
What?
Do you know what a heel hook is?
No.
It just destroys your knee. And it can happen in like 4 seconds. Just completely destroys your knee. Debilitating.
Heel hook? What
Heel
do
hook.
they do?
It's difficult to describe, but you take the heel right here in your
Seems
arm.
a little delayed. Give it a second.
You take the
Okay.
heel. I believe this would be called an instep. I don't know for sure. I'm not current on my jiu-jitsu terms. And then you turn it and crank it in such a way while you're doing it laying down, but while you're also straightening the leg, that you can just hear the knee and it goes pop, and then you're just fucked.
Isn't that the Kurt Angle ankle twist?
Ankle lock is kind of similar, but also different. Ankle twist?
tried
No,
Kurt.
it's called. I think it was called the angle lock. Might have been
Angle
ankle
lock,
lock.
yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, ankle lock's actually pretty similar. Like there's a toe hold you can do. There's jiu-jitsu players are so crazy. There's a move called the banana split where you just stretch someone. You just take their legs and pull them 2 opposite ways, and it just rips your groin apart.
How? Isn't that like an old torture technique with horses?
That's actually my fetish.
Horses?
Nice.
I did see someone. I get like recommended random Facebook UFC videos, so I saw a flying triangle choke.
Sick.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I probably no. I've seen most of them recently. So I probably we're gonna start. You know what? We're gonna start having fight nights. That sounds fun.
Watching.
No, you and me just beat up
You already
Jake.
broke rule 1.
You and me just beat up Jake for 2 hours. I could take a leg kick. All right, give me 4. What an asshole. Anyone that
you
says
know what
that,
I think the problem is?
Go ahead.
The problem is I have short legs and a big torso, so my shins have just been constantly abused from
Oh.
holding up a larger torso.
That's fair. The thought is, by the way, I think most people say it like, but I've never done. You've done boxing enough, like you're not a master, but you've done boxing enough to know that if you ever boxed against someone that knew what they were doing, you're getting your ass beat.
Yeah.
So like maybe I had this conversation recently. I could maybe beat up a 115-pound women's UFC fighter. 150. I keep in mind I have 60. If they're going in
Because
and
of
they
the weight advantage,
Yeah.
mostly, I think.
yeah,
you
specifically because
can't-
of the weight advantage. Like I have 40 pounds on them. I could probably take it. I'm gonna hit a lot harder than them. Just guaranteed I'm gonna hit a lot harder than them because I know how to throw a punch. I know how to throw a kick. If they get near me though, they're probably gonna fuck me up.
Yeah.
Because I could not touch a 135-pound woman because they walk around at 150. No chance. No chance. I'm not beating any of the smaller weight classes for men. No chance.
Oh man.
Absolutely no chance.
I feel like it's almost harder if they're smaller, at least for me, because
They're
they're
gonna
just
be-
so much faster.
Yeah, they're gonna slip all of my punches. punch
at
me
least
in
the
my
bigger guys, like I feel like they're not as quick.
they're
but,
gonna
I mean,
punch
they
me in
still,
my
they still
eye,
are.
my ear, and put a finger up my ass all within seconds.
And 2 of those you asked for.
Yeah, insane. All right, say goodbye to the people. This was a lovely episode.
All right. Thank you everyone for hanging out. I hope you guys enjoyed our lovely guest today. Go check him out. Wait, does anyone have any questions? I don't know if anyone, did we miss anything?
We kind of rolled on with questions.
All right, everyone. I love you all. Have a good night. And thank you for hanging out for the last podcast of